a wrap. That's a season. Before you ask, number one, yes, I shaved the beard. I know I look worse. I'm not seeing anyone for 2 weeks since I'm quarantining, and I just wanted to see what my face looked like again, and now I know, and I'm never gonna want to see it again. Kidding. Although not fully. The second thing is everyone's wondering, Rick, did you win your league? The only thing I'll say is I know no one wants to hear about other people's leagues, but I think it does add validity to, you know, my recapping that I did win my league. Because if I was like missing the playoffs or even like not winning the league, and you guys were listening to me do my fantasy takes all season, it'd be kind of like sad for me, mainly for me. So yes, I won. I have Kamara and Davante Adams, so I was it was kind of over before it started, but yeah, my team was fucking sick. I don't know what to say. Enough about me, though. Enough about me. Yeah, I did it without Michael Thomas and Kittle. That's 2 first and second round picks, and I still got the highest points in the entire league of any week, and I got it in the finals. But the guys, this is not about my team. This is not about my team. So let's move on. Okay. Your league. Okay, so we are not surprised by who won it all. El Professor won it all. We expected it. El Professor deserved it. We've been talking about it all season. Thinking that El Professor was the best team. So, fortunately, I was able to... I don't know at what point I predicted El Professor was going to win. I don't know if it was even at the beginning. But definitely, for my dumb memory, every single time I remember talking about this league, it was about how El Professor is one of the best teams I've seen. And they won the finals by 100-plus points. So, you know, we can't even, you know, there's not much analysis to give at this point. I guess we'll just talk about what happened in the game, even though if El Professor benched 4 guys, he still would have won the game. So, Professor S, El Professor, congratulations. Putting in Jalen Hurts, ballsy, but I obviously worked 26 points. Deshaun Watson would have gotten you 37. And I'm surprised you had the courage to do that in the playoffs, in the finals of all things. But you went for it, and it didn't kill you. Jalen Hurts still having a good game, and outscoring Mahomes, which is crazy. But the story here, as every other year, as I talked about with my own team, Kamara and Davante Adams basically did it for you. That was 109 points combined. You only needed those 2 and a quarterback, or those 2, let's say Jonathan Taylor or Godwin or Ridley, really any of these guys, and you win the game. So in a season where we were talking about how deep this team was, it really ended up not even coming to the depth. It really just came up to being how it was also top heavy. Not only was it deep, but it was top heavy, and the top heaviness is what easily made you win this game. Wow, very similar team to me. Logan Thomas is also my tight end, so I have a lot of affinity to this team. Maybe that's why I've been so biased all season, rooting for this team. And I mean, your bench also was sick. Like, you couldn't even play Gibson or McKissick. McKissick ended up getting 23 points. This is with Keenan Allen and Mixon hurt. Just like a crazy good team. I'd be curious to see what happened in earlier seasons of this league, because El Professor was just so dominant in every way this season. Drafting, pickups. I don't remember. I think there was a trade also involved, if I'm not mistaken. So no one deserves it more. I hope you guys give El Professor a better run for his money in the future. Maybe make it a 12-team league, because this team's like pretty illegal, honestly, to have that bench. It's just like ridiculous for fantasy. His whole team could have gone hurt, and he still would have had a better team than most teams in the league. So enough about that. Team the Prophet. I mean, I think I talked about how I didn't view this as a finals team earlier on, but you still got the win, which was against my prediction. Montgomery continued to produce for you, which is something I was high on all season. So definitely congrats to you for sticking through it longer than anyone I know. But the other guys that we were really hesitant on, mainly that wide receiver group, really performed in the way, you know, that I was expecting at least. Sammy Watkins, not a good start in the finals. Is brutal, honestly. 1 target, no catches. Oh, sorry. He threw a ball once. He actually threw an interception. I didn't even watch that. 4 targets, 2 catches, 14 yards, just not good. And then Ayuk, also a guy I haven't been high on, especially with Kittle getting back in. He got hurt, but 4 points also. So, and then Singletary's a guy I've been hard on all season also. So, anyway, not to make it all about me, but I'm just saying this team was something I was never confident in, and you did outperform what I expected. But I think the finals, this just makes sense. You would have gotten beaten by basically any other team. So that is the final matchup, the third place matchup. El Captain, really great second half of the season, I guess, for El Captain. Just, I guess, you know, at 6 and 7 even, to make it to third place is pretty surprising. You got a great game out of Juju, which I didn't expect. Great game out of Jeff Wilson, which I didn't expect. Amazing game out of Tom Brady, which I didn't expect. So this is a big one where I would just say I was wrong. I wouldn't predict that El Captain would win this game. Actually, sorry. I wouldn't predict that El Captain would put up that many points. The chairman had to play some guys also that weren't super stellar. Russell Gage. Deontay Johnson's been doing well, but again, I just don't trust guys like this in such big games. Giovanni Bernard, another guy I'd be hesitant about. You got good production, though, out of most of these guys, and then 44 out of Mike Evans. So both these teams, I think, overperformed for sure projection and for sure what I expected. And I just think generally what you would expect for this team. I'd say these teams would average around 140 points. But you got 186 and 175. So congrats to both these teams. Great way to end the season. Chairman has to be disappointed to get 4th place after, going 9-4. So that's disappointing. Last place game is the only other thing we'll talk about. We went with Jared barely beating straight knockout. Was that this week? Why do I feel like I've already talked about that? It was last week. That's why. It must have been last week. It was last week. So just one more shout out then to straight knockout. Yeah, the opposite of your team name is what ended up happening. You got knocked out, and it was a tough season. So I'd love to see next season. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to see next season, but I'd love to see next season more, parity. Is parity? Yeah, parity I think means evenness. I always mix up parity and I guess disparity wouldn't be. So parity. This season was a little bit like El Professor was just too dominant all season. I think outside of, I'm going to be very annoying here, I'm sorry, but outside of the league I'm in, of all the leagues I've been watching, there's been no other league outside of the league I'm in, and I guess this team, where it's just been so clearly one team at the top the entire season. There's normally more competitiveness, and this one, it really looked like Professor was going to win it all year. So with that being said, it was a good season. Congrats to El Professor. You have bragging rights for a while. So I think this is the league that also gets relegated. So to the people that are getting relegated, enjoy the Pee Wee League. If I'm wrong about the relegation, I just did too many leagues this season. It's a lesson I learned. I'm only going to do 1 or 2 next year because my head hurts. But have a great offseason. Health and happiness to everyone. It's been a wild ride. Thanks for having me.